You can't keep acting like this, Liam, Vanessa Sinclair sighed, adjusting the sparkling diamond bracelet on her wrist. Our guests will notice something's off. Liam Carter sat stiffly in the private lounge of the upscale bridal boutique, watching as his fiancée examined her reflection in the full-length mirror. The custom-designed wedding gown, the flawless makeup, the poised elegance. Vanessa was everything society expected in a perfect wife. Everything's fine, Liam muttered, loosening his tie slightly. Is it? Vanessa turned to him, arching an eyebrow. You're a world-class architect, Liam. You negotiate multi-million-dollar deals, handle impossible deadlines, and yet you're nervous about a wedding? A wedding is different, he said. It's not just business. Vanessa let out a soft chuckle, smoothing the fabric of her dress. It is a transaction, in a way, a merging of two powerful families, a partnership that makes sense on every level. Liam forced a smile, but the weight in his chest only grew heavier. In just 1 week, he would marry Vanessa Sinclair. Beautiful, intelligent, ambitious. She was the perfect choice, on paper. Standing up, he adjusted his suit jacket, feeling suffocated in the lavish boutique. I need some air, Liam said, walking out before Vanessa could protest. Outside, the cool spring breeze brushed against his face, but it did little to clear his mind. 1 more week. 1 more week until he was bound to the woman everyone said was perfect for him. So why did it feel like he was making the biggest mistake of his life? The rehearsal dinner was held at an upscale restaurant in the heart of New York, where crystal chandeliers cast golden reflections on fine wine glasses. Everything was perfect, just as Vanessa had planned. Liam sat at the grand banquet table, only half listening to the chatter around him. Vanessa's parents were deep in conversation with real estate moguls, while his mother exchanged pleasantries with New York's top architects. He tightened his grip around his glass, feeling more like a chess piece in a game he never agreed to play. You okay? Vanessa leaned in, whispering, her poised smile never faltering. Yeah, just a little tired. We still have the bridesmaid and groomsmen introductions coming up. Try to keep up, she said, before returning to her conversation with an important guest. Liam sighed, rubbing his temple. That was when the MC's voice echoed through the speakers. And now, introducing the maid of honor, Emma Collins. Liam froze. That name. His head snapped up, heart pounding, and then, amidst the applause, a familiar figure stepped onto the stage. Emma, the woman he once loved more than anything, the woman who left without a word, the woman he had spent years trying and failing to forget. And now she was standing there, just a few feet away, bathed in golden light. Liam held his breath. A wave of dizziness swept over him. Emma Collins wasn't just a memory anymore. She was back. Liam stood on the restaurant's balcony, taking a deep breath as he tried to steady his pulse. Inside, the sound of laughter and conversation carried on, but it all felt distant, muted beneath the storm raging inside him. A voice called out behind him, soft, yet powerful enough to stop him in his tracks. Liam. He turned. Emma stood there, the glow of the city casting a soft halo around her face. Time had passed, but her eyes, those same eyes that once held his entire world, hadn't changed. 1,000 questions burned on his tongue, years' worth of anger, confusion, and heartbreak fighting to be spoken. But looking at her now, he didn't know where to begin. I didn't expect to see you here, he finally said, his voice rougher than he intended. Emma clenched her hands together, as if weighing her words. Vanessa and I were close in college. When she asked me to be her maid of honor, I didn't think I'd be seeing you like this. Really? Liam let out a humorless laugh. Because I remember you never even saying goodbye. Emma looked away. I didn't think you'd want an explanation. Don't act like this was my choice, Emma. His voice sharpened. I deserve to know why. Silence stretched between them. Emma gripped the railing, her gaze locked on the skyline. Liam, she started, then stopped. What happened? He pressed, patient but relentless. She took a deep breath, as if fighting an internal battle. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter? Liam scoffed. Then look me in the eye and tell me you never loved me, that you left because you didn't care anymore. Emma shut her eyes for a long moment. When she opened them, The pain inside them made his chest tighten. "It wasn't like that," she whispered. "Then what was it?" She bit her lip, hesitating for what felt like an eternity. And when she finally spoke, her voice was barely audible over the wind. "Your mother came to see me." Liam went rigid. Emma turned away, but it was too late. He had already seen the hurt in her eyes. Liam had never felt so completely out of control. He walked into his apartment past midnight, tossing his suit jacket onto the couch, his hands still shaking from the anger simmering beneath his skin. His conversation with Emma replayed in his mind like a broken record. "Your mother came to see me. She told me I wasn't good enough for you. She wrote me a check and told me to leave." But the words that shattered him the most were Emma's next ones. "I didn't take it." Emma hadn't taken the money. She hadn't left because she was bribed. She left because she thought she was doing what was best for him, because she loved him. Liam clenched his fists. His mother had orchestrated his entire life in ways he had never realized. She hadn't just shaped his career. She had stolen his chance to choose his own love. He pulled out his phone. Dozens of messages from Vanessa lit up the screen. "Where are you? Tomorrow is our big day, Liam. Get your head straight. Everything is perfect. Don't ruin this." "Perfect?" Liam let out a bitter laugh. "Perfect for who? For his mother? For Vanessa? For the elite society they lived in? Or for him?" He tossed his phone onto the table, leaning against the wall, staring blankly at the ceiling. Could he really go through with this? The next morning, Liam stood in the groom's dressing room, staring at his reflection. The expensive tuxedo fit perfectly, not a single flaw. But the man in the mirror felt like a stranger. The door swung open. It was Mark, his best man and oldest friend. "You good?" Mark asked. But as soon as he saw Liam's expression, his smile faded. "Don't tell me you're thinking about running." Liam took a deep breath, his voice quiet but firm. "I can't do this, Mark." Mark's eyes widened. "Are you insane? This is the wedding of the year. Do you have any idea what kind of fallout this is going to cause?" Liam exhaled slowly, a strange sense of clarity washing over him. "I know, and I don't care." Liam stood at the altar, feeling suffocated in the perfectly tailored tuxedo his mother had chosen for him. Vanessa stood across from him, radiating confidence and grace. Around them, hundreds of guests watched in anticipation, waiting for the flawless moment to unfold. Emma stood among the bridesmaids, just a few steps away. She wasn't looking at him. Or maybe she was forcing herself not to. The priest began to speak. "Liam Carter, do you take Vanessa Sinclair to be your lawfully wedded wife, to love, honor, and remain faithful to for all the days of your life?" The air was so still, Liam could hear his own heartbeat. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Vanessa gave his hand a slight squeeze. "Say it, Liam. Just finish this." Emma's fingers curled tightly together, tension radiating from her posture. Liam looked directly at the priest. "No." A shocked gasp rippled through the crowd. Vanessa went rigid. "Liam? What?" Liam inhaled deeply, feeling like he was breathing freely for the first time in years. "I can't do this, Vanessa. I'm sorry." Around them, whispers erupted. His mother shot up from her seat, her face draining of color. Vanessa, the woman who was always in control, always composed, was, for the first time, speechless. "Liam, what the hell are you doing?" But Liam didn't answer her. He turned to Emma. Emma was staring at him, utterly frozen. And before she could react, Liam stepped down from the altar and took her hand. "Come with me." "Wait, Liam." Emma shook her head, panicked. "You can't just..." "I just walked away from this marriage in front of hundreds of people, in front of my mother, in front of the entire world." He tightened his grip on her hand. "If you're running again, then this time, I'm coming with you." Emma's eyes were wide, filled with 1,000 emotions. Then, wordlessly, she gripped his hand tighter. Together, they walked out of the church, leaving everything behind. Liam had no idea how far they had run. All he knew was that as the church doors slammed shut behind them, the world suddenly felt quiet. No more gasps from the crowd, no more rage from his mother or Vanessa. Just the sound of their footsteps against the pavement of a New York street. They stopped in a small park, breathing hard, their hands still locked together. Emma was the first to speak. "Liam, you just walked out of $1 million wedding in front of hundreds of people." Her voice trembled. "Do you even realize what you just did?" Liam laughed, an actual, genuine laugh, not the forced kind he had been perfecting for years. "I think, for the first time in my life, I did something I actually wanted." Emma bit her lip, her expression a mix of panic and something else, something softer. "Liam, you just lost everything. Your career, your reputation, the life you built." "No, Emma." He shook his head, looking her straight in the eye. "I just found myself." A long silence stretched between them. Emma blinked, as if trying to process everything that had just happened. "So what are you going to do now?" she asked quietly. Liam took a deep breath. "Start over." "With me?" Emma's voice was cautious. Liam held her gaze, his expression steady. "No, with myself first. You were right. I need to figure out who I am, not for you, but for me. But," he gave her hand a gentle squeeze, "I also don't want to lose you again." Emma looked down at their joined hands, then slowly let go. "Liam, I can't be the only reason you change. I won't make that mistake again." He nodded, respecting her words. "Then, can you give me a chance to prove I can stand on my own?" Emma was silent for a long moment before finally smiling. "All right, but there are no shortcuts this time, Liam." He smiled back, lighter than he had felt in years. "I don't need shortcuts anymore." This time, they didn't run. They walked, one step at a time, toward a future that was uncertain, but real. 3 months later, Liam stood by the window of his small apartment, looking down at the bustling streets of New York. No more lavish parties, no million-dollar deals, no office at the top of a skyscraper. After walking out of his wedding, his mother had cut him off financially, his company refused to take him back, and his former business partners quickly turned their backs on him. He had lost everything. And yet, for the first time in his life, he had no regrets. He had rediscovered his passion, not soulless high-rises, but spaces that actually mattered. Now he worked on community architecture projects, helping transform forgotten neighborhoods into creative spaces where artists and everyday people could express themselves freely. His coffee cup rested on the table as his phone buzzed. "Emma Collins sent you a message." His heart beat a little faster as he clicked it open. "There's a small art exhibit at the community park today. Want to come?" He didn't have to think long. His fingers hovered over the keyboard. "Just to look at paintings?" A moment later, Emma replied, "Coffee too, if you want." Liam smiled. No grand promises, no rushed expectations, just two people, starting over in their own way. He grabbed his keys and stepped out of his small but hopeful apartment, walking toward a place that, maybe this time, truly felt like home. 1 year later, Liam stood in the middle of the small garden, strings of warm lights glowing above him. It was a space he had designed himself, turning it into a community art haven. But tonight, it wasn't just about art. Tonight, it was about her. Emma stood just a few feet away, guiding a group of children as they put the finishing touches on a mural. Paint smudged her hands, and her eyes sparkled as she laughed with them. Liam's heart pounded. He had spent the past year rebuilding his life, a life he chose. No more family expectations, no more elite society dictating his every move. Just him, his passion for design, and her. Emma turned, surprised to find him standing there, holding a small velvet box. "Liam?" She frowned slightly, confused. He took a deep breath and stepped closer. "I once stood in front of hundreds of people, about to say vows to someone I didn't love." Liam's voice trembled slightly, but his eyes held nothing but certainty. "Today, I don't need hundreds of people. I just need one." Emma's eyes widened as he knelt down. "I spent too long not realizing that the most important thing in my life was you," Liam said, opening the box to reveal a simple yet elegant ring reflecting the golden lights above them. "And this time, I want to do this right. Emma Collins, will you marry me?" Emma froze, tears welling in her eyes. She didn't need to think, she didn't need to run. She nodded, a brilliant smile spreading across her face. "Yes, Liam, yes." Applause erupted from the people around them. "Mark, Emma's colleagues, the friends they had made along the way. But for Liam, only Emma mattered. 1 week later, they had a small wedding in that very same garden. No media, no whispers from high society, just friends, the children Emma taught, and the people who truly mattered. Emma walked down the aisle, this time as his bride. Not an arrangement, not an obligation, but love. Liam smiled as she took his hand, knowing that this time he had made the right choice.